This video demonstrates the process of creating and running a web-based cash book application without coding, meaning no programming is required. You will see the development process for a browser-based interface for viewing, editing, and inputting data, as well as a PDF print output function. We will be using the Chat2DB AI generation tool and the dFrame application development and execution platform. dFrame is open source software, so you can freely download and use it from GitHub. Please download Chat2DB from the Chat2DB website. We welcome anyone interested in this project, whether for practical application or participation in development and improvement. Website information is provided in the description section. This is the dFrame login screen. Only sample application is available in the application selection list. This is an application that is automatically created when dFrame is installed. Select this and log in. This is the execution screen for application sample. There are no executable objects. Switch to setting mode. Select arrangements in view list. DB schema is a function that allows you to link to external objects of this application and make them usable within this application. Open it. Opens a list of applications that have linkable objects. The development project dFrame and Chat2DB are listed, but there are no other applications. Now, we will create a cash book object in the database of this sample application and link it. Here are the prompts for creating the table and test data for this purpose. You can get lists of prompt in the description box of this feed. This app manages daily cash inflows and outflows. Integrated management with cashless payments will be a separate application. Please look forward to it. Okay, let's enter this into Chat2DB. We are sharing a dFrame database. We can see the database named sample. Open the query console to manipulate the sample application's database. Paste a prompt here to create the cash book table. Press to execute this prompt to create table. Here show up two SQL statements, one for create table. The other is insert the sample data into the table. Execute these two SQLs. Succeeded. Cash_book tables show up in database sample. Open the table. We have 12 data rows. Then build up web application for cash book. We return to dFrame. This is the database registration screen from before. Now, a sample application appears in the selection menu. Select it. Select Sample Cash Book from the list. A link labeled Sample Cash Book appears in the object display row at the top of the screen. Clicking this displays a 2-page list of cash book data. Sample Cash Book is the physical name of the database with the application name appended. Also, the physical name of the database field name is set as is. Furthermore, the display order of the data field seems odd. When viewing the data in single record mode, in addition to the disorder in the data field order, the balance column should be automatically calculated, yet allows input and editing. Also, the update date and creation date are automatically set and updated in the database, so these need to be set to input disabled. Enter settings mode, then click the settings link for the sample_cash_book object. The object definition form opens. Change the title sample cash_book to cash book. Enter a description in the description field. Register. The object name at the top of the screen has changed to cash book. Open the object definition form again. Click Object Field Link. Let's edit the attributes of the data fields. First, adjust the title field from physical database name to the natural English. Then adjust the display order by setting the sequence field on the far right column of the form. OK, select transaction_date. Change the title to transaction date without the underscore. Also, set the value of sequence to 20 so that it appears after ID. Save it. The sequence file of the transaction date field of the object file list form is updated. Similarly, set income, outcome, and balance to 20, 30, 40, etc. The video has been cut short. This is the result of changing the order of the object field, that is, transaction date, income, outcome, and balance. Next, open the Data Item Security screen from the Administration section. Setting, Arrangement, Object Security. Select Cashbook as the object name. The data fields of Cashbook and user permission definition data, called roles, are displayed in a matrix. This time, we will only configure the administrator permission. Change balance, updated at, and created fields from read/write to read only. Now, let's switch to app mode and view and edit the Cashbook. Click the Details link to open the data for January 20th in single record mode. The balance field, updated at and created at, are disabled for editing. Let's try changing the income amount for it. Return to the list. The balance field remains unchanged. Also, let's add withdrawal data for February 18th. Set $110 into Outcome field, then register it. Returning to the list. The balance field is blank. Also, the entries are not in chronological order. To resolve these issues, a mechanism is needed to recalculate balances when data is edited, added, or deleted. We will have Chat2DB create a procedure for this purpose, register it in the database, and have it trigger in dFrame when data changes occur. This is a prompt to Chat2DB for creating the procedure. Returning to the Chat2DB screen again, open the query console to generate the stored procedure. Paste the prompt you saw earlier into the console. Press the Generate button on the far right of the screen. The spinning icon indicates that generation is in progress. Chat2DB allows you to select a model for generation. Here, we are using Claude Sonnet 4.6. Each generation may differ in programming style and other aspects. Also, the results may differ from what was intended. In such cases, review the prompt and try generating again. The procedure has appeared. Clear any warning messages indicating generation is in progress. And press the Execute SQL button at the top of the screen. The stored procedure has been registered in the sample database. Now, return to the dFrame and configure it to run. Open the Cashbook object in Setting mode, then set the AfterTrigger field to an SQL call for Recalculate Balance, which will launch the procedure. An AfterTrigger is an SQL or Windows/Linux shell command that automatically launches after an addition, edit, or deletion occurs to object data. There's one more thing to configure in addition to this. That is, the procedure's balance recalculation was performed after sorting by transaction date, accounting date, plus ID. The display sorting order is done in dFrame. In object field form, open transaction date field and set its sequence on list form field to 1. Then the ID sequence on list form field to 2. In app mode, open Cashbook. Then open and close the data for January 20th. The balance has been updated. Also, the data for February 18th is displayed correctly in date order. Next, we will move on to developing the PDF printing function. Here is a prompt for creating the procedure. We will enable printing of two types of lists, a list for the current month and a list for the year. Printing is initiated from the top link of the data open in the single entry of the Cashbook. Based on the transaction date of this data, the data for the current month and the current year will be generated. The dFrame uses a nested table structure for printable reports. That is, the whole is one table with multiple tables inside and further tables inside those. The data in each table is linked to a procedure that generates each piece of data. We will have Chat2DB create this procedure. This is the Chat2DB again. Open the console of the sample database. Paste the generation prompt from earlier. Press the Generate button. The time required to generate the procedure may be a little long. I cut about 10 seconds of the screen to shorten the video length. A procedure has appeared. Because Chat2DB generated separate routines for printing the current month's and current year's data, the program source code has become quite lengthy. Delete any warning messages output during generation, and execute this SQL to register the procedure to sample database. Now, let's return to dFrame and configure the settings to execute PDF reporting. Switch to frame form, enter the settings mode, then arrangement section. Report definition defines the basic attributes of the report. Report scope defines the print range. Report structure defines the print layout. Open the report definition screen. The report name is the physical name of this defined data. Next, set the data item's ID for determining the data key, and transaction date for determining data range of the report. These become the parameters of the procedure. Set the paper size. And orientation, portrait/landscape. Open the report scope definition form from the link at the top of the screen. Two definitions are shown, this month and this year. Settings are made in single record mode. Open the report schema definition form. Set the procedure that generates the print dataset for each structured definition. For this example, the format is table with 5 columns and a maximum of 999 data rows. Set the display width distribution ratio for each column in percentages. Due to time constraints, you are shown a pre-configured screen. While the cache book report format was simple, multiple structural definitions can be created depending on the format structure. Now, let's open the data for February 5th. Let's make report the data for the current month. You can check it on the screen simultaneously with the creation of the PDF file. Next, let's print the data for the current year. Finally, let's look at the created PDF file in Explorer. This concludes the demonstration of creating the Cashbook application. Next time, we plan to create a calendar and schedule application. Why not join our group and create applications using Generation AI as the engine and extend and improve dFrame? We aim to build a worldwide community. Please also visit our website. Its URL in description box of this video. Thank you for watching.